Commission has the authority to rule on how commerce is conducted in this county, this town, this state. You don't have that authority. The DEP was assigned 14 new inspectors. And I can tell you, with my experience dealing with the DEP, they're the most ruthless people on this earth. Because you're guilty the minute they walk in the front door. You're guilty. You don't have a chance to defend yourself. All they're looking for is to give you a big fine, because a lot of fine money goes back to pay their salaries. If you look at the problem in Morgantown, the town council tried to pass an ordinance there against drilling. The courts have ruled against it. You're wasting your time. We have two big issues in Pocahontas County that you ought to be devoting all of your time on right now. Number one is jobs. Number two is education. Our Board of Education is about to lose $500,000, which we might lose 16 teachers. The education of our children is more important than anything we can talk about right now. And I don't want to get into all these environmental issues. I don't know whether I'm for drilling or against drilling. But I can tell you one thing. We cannot let our children and our grandchildren down. They have to be educated. And if we lose 16 teachers in this county, that means that our children are going to suffer. Now, we should be looking at that. And I think all of us agree there's not going to be any drilling in Pocahontas County in the next 5 years. Maybe there'll be more stringent requirements coming out of the state or out of the EPA. I just read in the paper this week that raising livestock is more dangerous to the environment than anything else, because of raising the grain, of all the fuel it takes to raise the grain, all the fertilizer, and all the manure the cows and the bulls put out creates gas that goes into the atmosphere and the ozone. So we're going to quit raising cattle? No, let's solve our problems. And I think education has got to be number one. So you need to be working on how you're going to help the Board of Education overcome losing $500,000. And you need to see how you can create some jobs. We've had a vacant industrial park up here for the last 10 years. Have you spent any time trying to get jobs in there? These are the issues you ought to be facing.
Thank you, Mr. Byrne. I'm glad to be able to. Very well said. I'm glad to be able to report to you that we're doing many things on those exact issues. But your first question was, what would we do with valid information? I answered that for myself as commissioner when the meeting started, and just to reiterate that, if the majority of voters on a ballot question were to come back and say, we're opposed to drilling, then I would take that as a mandate for the county commission to pursue measures it can do to regulate the industry in the county. In particular, it looks like the only avenue there would be through the public health and safety and nuisance ordinance. But on the other hand, if the ballot were to go forward and said we favor Marcellus shale drilling, then I consider that as a mandate to us not to attempt to pass any ordinance or resolution against it. Regardless, I think it's pointed out by this gentleman here that it's our responsibility to continue to work with state agencies on regulation, the DEP. I think so, absolutely, Mr. Burns. Regarding the issue of the Board of Education and the over $500,000 they stand to lose should the Safe and Secure Rural Schools Act not get renewed, well, actually it hasn't been renewed, it's expired. So what we've done in the commission was 2 meetings ago, we wrote a letter of support to our elected representatives in Washington on behalf of this issue and asked them to sign on, Rockefeller and Manchin and Ray Hall to sign on to supporting the renewal of this act. They received, according to Shirley Grossclose, over 1,000 letters from Pocahontas counties and around. Also, this issue's in Wyoming that they're facing the cut as well. And the good news is that Senators Rockefeller and Manchin have signed on as co-sponsors to renewed legislation to reenact this funding. And Ray Hall has pledged his support for it as well. Unfortunately, none of our representatives on the committees that directly affect this, but they have pledged their support to vote for it should it come to the floor for a vote. So it's good. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad that the county commission wrote a letter of support for that. Of course, we need to keep our teachers and do all we can to stand up for the funds that come to us, and that's over $500,000. So the indication now, as I understand it now, is it's a good sign that we've got our elected delegation signed on to it. We'll have to see where it goes from there. For the industrial park, we talked about this Tuesday. The Frank